Our Ask an Expert today is Ron Huening from Zuckerman Law Group. Thank you so much for being here.
It's great to be here.
And so it is Christmas season coming up. It's just a few weeks away. It'll be here in no time. Somebody or a family that may have gone through divorce, there's a custody arrangement that maybe isn't working for some of the people, but they can't go to court, either cost or it's just not easy to get a court date. What can be done to help them out?
Well, there are a number of things. I mean, one of the things that happens most often around Christmas time is somebody's trying to make Christmas arrangements. The kids are almost always out of school for 2 weeks, and you've got family on one side and family on the other, and sometimes those plans conflict, and then parents are into a conflict. They're phoning us. Oftentimes, what is happening is a once-in-a-lifetime experience that one parent wants to take the kids to, some family members quite ill, and then you've got a dispute. We get a call, and we get a lot of these just before Christmas.
Okay. What if they want to take an extra vacation or something like that? Are judges amenable to doing that if they have to take the kids out of school in particular?
Well, the starting point is judges don't like to see parents take their children out of school, but oftentimes what you can point out is, again, like the example a moment ago, this is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Perhaps a relative in a foreign country that happens to be a nice location, say Mexico, for example, is not doing well and would benefit from a visit. In cases like that, judges are going to depart from the rule, and if you ask a judge, in circumstances like that, you're going to generally get your way if you can point out that this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and it's advantageous for your child or your children.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, child support is usually set, obviously, to help out with raising the child. But what if the child wants to do something like, I don't know, maybe learn how to ride a horse or something that might not fit within the budget?
Right.
How is that handled?
Well, that's been a very fertile area in the law for many years now. Our child support guidelines started in 1997, and basically what they did is for each province they set a budget, if you will. If the paying parent who doesn't live with the children is has a certain amount of income, then that income gives rise to a certain amount of child support. But not everything fits in that budget, and this is what you've touched on. The things that don't fit in the budget are called special and extraordinary expenses. Some of them are well known. So if they relate to, for example, care for the child or the children in respect of medical or dental care, but the others, and this is where people fight, have to do with extraordinary expenses. Mm-hmm. So with respect to extraordinary expenses and extracurricular expenses, for example, some parents may think it's quite proper to have Johnny and Janie in a full tutoring program to help them to get into university. Well, if the family couldn't afford that previous to their separation, there's a pretty good indication that a judge, looking at what their income is, mom's income, dad's income, and the child support that's being paid, is going to say, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to order dad or mom, as the case may be, to contribute to this. But in other cases, if the income is higher, and it is the sort of thing that the parties would have engaged in if they had stayed together, then the judge generally will. So a great illustration is hockey. Great Canadian game. Sure. And in many families, let's say, you know, dad earns $200,000 a year and mom earns $50,000 a year. In cases like that, it is going to be found to be appropriate that hockey be engaged in by the kids. But when you have income like that, the child support is high enough to almost cover.
Sure.
Right? In other cases, say dad's at $30,000 and mom's at $25,000 a year, the court is simply not going to say that this is a reasonable expense for this family. So it's kind of on a sliding scale, but there isn't a guideline. Specifically, there's judgment involved.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming in and clarifying some of this stuff, because it can be very difficult, obviously.
Well, absolutely.
So, Ron Huening from Zuckerman Law Group, thanks again.
Call us before your spouse does.